Hello everyone, I'm Julia Donaldson and this week we're soaring into space with the story of the Smeds and the Smoos. Malcolm and I are going to tell you the story and you're going to see some of the wonderful pictures by Axel Scheffler. So here goes. Malcolm is going to be Grandfather Smed, who's in red, and I'm Grandmother Smoo, who's in blue like all the other Smoos.
By a alluvial lake on a far-off planet, there lived a young Smed, and her name was Janet.
Not far away, on a humpelty hill, there lived a young Smoo by the name of Bill.
Janet, like all the Smeds, was red, and this is what her grandfather said: never, never play with the Smoos. They sleep in holes, they wear strange shoes, they jump about like kangaroos. Never, never play with the Smoos.
Bill, like the other Smoos, was blue, and these were the words of Grandmother Smoo.
Never, never play with the Smeds. They have strange hair upon their heads. They sleep in funny things called beds. Never, never play with the Smeds.
The Smeds on their lake liked nothing better than splashing about, getting wetter and wetter. But Janet grew bored with this watery play, and early one morning she tiptoed away.
The Smoos jumped about on their humpelty hill. They bounced up and down it and never stood still. But Bill was beginning to think, this is boring. So, early one morning, he set off exploring.
Janet met Bill in the Wirpler Wood, where the trockles grew tall and the glompons smelt good. The two rubbed antennae and played all day long. She told him a story, he sang her a song.
Then they climbed to the top of a gerberry coot and nibbled its juicy and jellyful fruit.
Till who should disturb them but Grandfather Smed, shaking his fist as he angrily said, never, never play with the Smoo. They're such a nasty shade of blue. For the 100th time I say to you, never, never play with a Smoo.
Grandmother Smoo was close behind, and this is how she spoke her mind.
Never, never play with a Smed. They're such a dreadful shade of red. I'll say again what I've always said. Never, never play with a Smed.
Years went by on the far-off planet. Janet missed Bill, and Bill missed Janet. But off they crept whenever they could to sing and play in the Wirpler Wood.
The two of them grew and decided to wed. But what do you think their grandparents said?
Never, never marry a Smoo. They're a beastly bunch. They're a crazy crew. They drink black tea. They eat green stew. Never, never marry a Smoo.
Never, never marry a Smed. My dearest child, are you off your head? They drink pink milk. They eat brown bread. Never, never marry a Smed.
Janet and Bill stole out that night, where their family slept and the scroon shone bright. They clambered into the Smed's red rocket. Grandfather Smed had forgotten to lock it.
Bill pressed the button and Janet steered. When their families woke, they had both disappeared.
The Smed said, your Bill must have stolen our Janet and taken her off to a distant planet.
The Smoos said,
It's Janet who's stolen our Bill and lured him away from the humpelty hill.
The Smoos climbed into their rocket of blue, and they said to the Smeds, you had better come too.
Suspicious and scowling, they soared into space, till they reached planet Vumjum, a dry, dusty place. The Vums had long arms, which they waved in the air, but they didn't have news of the runaway pair.
The next stop was Lurgelstrup, covered in roses and watered by beasts with small eyes and long noses.
They touched on Grimbletosh, coated in grime. They searched planet Glurch and found nothing but slime.
One morning,
The Smoos found they'd run out of tea, so the Smeds shared their milk, which was pink as could be.
Then Grandfather Smed said, "My hair needs a trim."
And Grandmother Smoo kindly cut it for him.
They landed on Scroop, where the Scroopies wore kilts. They flew to Taboo, where the Clabs walked on stilts.
They searched all year long, then they searched longer still. But they didn't find Janet, they didn't find Bill. "Alas," said the Smoos, and the Smeds said,
"Alack, we have failed in our quest. We had better turn back."
So they turned and flew home to their very own planet. And there, down below them, they saw
Bill and Janet! The rocket touched down and they ran to the wood, where the trockles grew tall and the glompons smelled good. And there, in a glade by the rocket of red, were the runaway Smoo and the runaway Smed. They got lost and flown home again, only to find that all of the others had left them behind.
There was joy, jam and jumping. Then Janet said, "Maybe you'd like to make friends with our dear little baby."
A baby? A red one?
A blue one? But no, that baby was purple from head to toe.
They all hugged the Smoo Smed, their new baby brother. And Grandpa and Gran even hugged one another.
They splashed and they laughed and they danced with delight and they played with that baby from morning till night.
They made him a rattle. They made him a flute. They fed him the fruit of the gerberry coot.
Then they sang by the light of the silvery screw. And you can sing too, if you make up a tune.
Play with the Smeds and play with the Smoos. Play with whichever friends you choose. Then close your eyes and while you snooze, dream of the Smeds and dream of the Smoos.
I hope you enjoyed that story, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy the next thing, because Axel Scheffler is going to be drawing some pictures of your mum and dad, Smoo Smed. He's going to be drawing Bill and Janet. So let's go over to Axel.
Hello, I'm Axel Scheffler and I did the drawings for Julia Donaldson's stories, The Smeds and The Smoos. And I'm going to draw Bill and Janet for you. So Bill, or Janet and Bill, they're both aliens. And they live on a faraway planet, and they look like this. And it's the first story where I had to draw aliens, and the good thing about aliens is you can just make them up, because nobody knows what they look like. And I tried lots of things when I drew them before we decided together with the editor and the designer and Julia what they should look like. So that's Janet. And the thing is, again, like with the Gruffalo, the aliens were already described in the story by Julia. So she said one kind of alien had hair and was barefoot, and the other kind of alien jumping about like a kangaroo and was wearing shoes. So I had certain things that I couldn't ignore when I drew my aliens. So that's why these have tails like kangaroos. They're Both are very friendly, they're waving. If you hear funny noises in the background, that's not aliens, that's chickens. I'm surrounded by 3 chickens here. So, and then one kind of alien is blue and has green hair. No, this is red, sorry. The Smeds are red, and I think it is because Smed and red rhyme. So obviously when I do the pictures for the book, I use different colors. I use paints, or watercolors. This time I just use the color pencils. There's Janet. And this is going to be Bill. And I do a bit of coloring. Very fast. So there they are, Janet and Bill. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Axel. That was brilliant, as always. Well, now I'm going to show you something a bit different. I'm very pleased to say that the Smeds and the Smoos is one of our books that was made into a special edition by the clever people at Living Paintings. So inside here we've got some pictures which aren't just flat on the page, they're what we call tactile. It means you can touch them and feel how they kind of bulge out of the page, even if you can't see them. And I'm just feeling this one. I can feel 2 little aliens. I think it's Bill and Janet. I can even feel their antennae, and over here I think this is the Gerberry Coot tree. And we're now going to see a little blind boy feeling one of the pictures. I think he's going to be feeling this one at the end, which is of the Smoos blue rocket.
It shows a tall rocket.
Yeah.
Spots on one side.
Yeah, they're probably the rivets that hold it together.
The rivets on the canister.
Yeah, and then
it's got a pointed nose cone at the top.
yes. And
If you
those
feel down the right, you'll feel 3 windows with faces peering out.
that's right. And those are some of the Smeds and the Smoos that have gone looking for Bill and Janet.
Thank you, that was lovely. And it's great that these special books can be borrowed from Living Paintings' nationwide library service, and they come with an audio so that you can not just hear the story being told, but the pictures being described. Well, that's all for this week, but I hope you'll join me next week when we're going to be having a special edition with sign language, and the books we're going to do next week are Freddie and the Fairy and the Monkey Puzzle Song. So I hope to see you all then.